So much. Yes. I don't remember what year last year was. Well, yeah, I don't know.
Wendell. See him?
Nope. I see one.
Yeah. He's easy to say.
Yeah.
Right there.
Oh yeah.
No, I don't know when. Couldn't have been that long before. Couldn't have been that long before I got to town. Because I think wasn't sure. He was still coaching then. They went to state. I remember when we were. Who all's on the committee for selection? There's a number of them that'll be serving. Are you running the show?
Depends if things go well. If they go bad,
Great.
continue this evening, we'll delve deeper into these remarkable journeys for these three inductees. They have faced challenges, overcame obstacles, and persevered with unwavering determination. Their stories serve as a testament to the power of hard work, dedication, and pursuit of excellence. Let us celebrate these extraordinary individuals and endure their enduring legacies. Please join me in welcoming our newest members into the Forest City Hall of Fame, class of 2024, Mr. Bob Helmer, Mr. Rob Cameron, and Mr. Nate Ludwig. At this time, please help me welcome to the stage the sons of our first inductee, Mr. Todd Helmer and Mr. Mike Helmer.
Good evening. Thank you. For those of you that don't know, I'm Todd. I'm kind of the less talented brother, but I think I worked harder. That's how I got to stay on the floor. And actually, coaching is in our family. I've got a dad that was a coach and teacher, a brother that was a coach and teacher. I even have a son that is a coach and teacher, and I'm the oddball that went into banking. So, we are acknowledging three great individuals and what they've done for Forest City. My dad, what we're going to do is introduce and show his plaque. You can read all of his accomplishments, and there are many. But what really speaks to me is the number of people that stay in contact with him because he helped shape their lives, he helped change their lives. We get, he gets phone calls, he gets emails, Facebook. Well, it's my mom that does the Facebook thing because Dad just let go of his flip phone about 3 years ago. So, but anyway, what he taught me, and I think a lot of other people, is preparation, practice, and precision. And I don't care if you're in banking, I don't care where you work, if you have those things, you're going to succeed. And he did. I'm going to turn this over to my brother Mike.
I'm Mike Helmer, obviously, the one that didn't work very hard, I guess. I wasn't aware of that. I do want to speak to the committee real quick because I was with Todd Green and Steve Benton. We were watching Pat Graham race the other day, last weekend, and I was telling them about this Hall of Fame and how great it was going to be to go back and see my dad be inducted, and they were wondering, how did we miss the class of, why are we not getting honored? And Mr. Rosacker told us that they did not take police records into account when they choose the crew. So, and I did want to mention, just in case there's anybody here that's trying to keep in touch with my dad, as great of a coach as he is, one of the things he's not real slick at is using the computer. And 2 years into his tenure at Waco, which would have been 2 years after he was gone from here, we were having a conversation at one of our family meetings, and he says, I don't have an email at Waco. I said, Dad, everybody has an email if you work at a school. He goes, Mike, I think I know if I have an email. I go, Dad, you're never on a computer. How would you know? So we got in touch with the Waco athletic director, and we found out not only did he have an email, he had over 2,000 emails that he hadn't answered. So if any of you didn't get a return response, it isn't because he doesn't care about you, it's because he didn't know. So anyway, I agree with all the stuff my brother has already said, and I'm also going to skip the individual accomplishments that you can see on there. But the thing that my dad taught me was about family and how important family is. And there's no better guy out there that represents the town for character, integrity. The teams that he produced, you can look at Nate, you can look at Rob, perfect examples of what Forest City is all about, all three of them. And very much, Dad, and we're really proud of you, and we want to come up and let you speak, so come on up.
This is really, really emotional for me. I've had my sons speak for me at other times. I've been out of competition for quite a while. Not quite a while. And certainly, this is very special. I've got my daughters here as well. I'd like to say that my wife is struggling with arthritis and lymphedema, and so she could not be here tonight. And certainly that's something we miss, but we're very pleased with this opportunity, and I can't thank the committee enough for inviting me to this occasion. Thank you very much. When we came to Forest City, it was 34 years that we spent here. When we came to Forest City, we had no idea, of course, about the community, the school, or anything else. But certainly, we enjoyed every minute of it. As far as tonight's concerned, I want to congratulate Rob and Nate on their selections to the Forest City Athletic Hall of Fame. I think Mike and Todd both said the same thing. These two young men certainly have earned that right, have earned that honor, and not only were they great athletes, but they were morally sound and very good student athletes, which is what student athletes are supposed to be, good in the classroom as well. I'd like to thank the committee, Chad, and whoever worked with him on the committee for the honor that you're giving me. I appreciate that a great deal. It's something that I will cherish the rest of my life, I'm sure. My wife, Sharon, as I said, isn't here tonight. She's been an important part of our success through the years. Sharon and I incidentally celebrated our 60th anniversary last August, and 56 of the years, as I said, 56 of those years I coached, so she has been under fire as a coach's wife, if that's such a thing, for a long period of time. Sharon's always done a lot for our teams and stuff. She had get-togethers for the families at the start of the year. She always had parties for the kids at the end of the year. And the boys have mentioned Facebook. She said, I can't take any credit for Facebook, so I won't.
hopefully he's regained his voice after yelling like that, and we can get him up here. At this time, I'd like to welcome, Orrin Harris to the stage to introduce Nate Ludwig.
I didn't know they were going to play that. I want to congratulate all of you who are being inducted into the Forest City Athletic Hall of Fame today. It's a really exciting day for me personally too, because I get the chance to see all these folks who were part of my sportscasting career over the years. All the interviews with Coach Bob Hilmer, Todd and Mike Hilmer, and Nate and Rob playing in the games that I broadcast. So many memories that I'll never forget. It's my honor today, though, to introduce Nate Ludwig. I've known Nate since he was just a little guy crawling around the pews during church services at the Methodist Church in Forest City, and then growing up to be an outstanding 6'4" athlete at Forest City High School. Nate played in all the sports at Forest City High School. Well, I take that back. I guess he didn't wrestle. But maybe he would have if it had been at the same time as basketball. During the fall, Nate was a quarterback for the Indian football team and he earned all-state recognition. During the winter months, Nate was an outstanding post player for the Indians basketball team that made it to the state tournament in 1994, losing to South Tama in the first round. But, I was going to say this, but I've already seen it. Who can forget that exciting district tournament win over Humboldt? When Nate scored at the buzzer to give the Indians a win after they had trailed by 7 points with under a minute to play in the ballgame. That was a great play you called there, Bob. In the spring, Nate was on the track team and was a 2-time state champion in the 110-meter high hurdles. Nate also loved to play baseball. He played in the outfield, and he pitched for the Indians during his senior year. And in his senior year, he hit 9 or 10 home runs. He wasn't exactly sure, but he held the record there for a while in home runs hit. During Nate's senior year, he earned all-state recognition in football, basketball, baseball, and track. The Des Moines Register named him 13th All-State in basketball. He was honored by the Globe Gazette as the North Iowa Athlete of the Year, and won the Brooker Cup Award as the Outstanding Male Athlete at Forest City High School. After high school, Nate played quarterback at Waldorf College here at Forest City under Coach Dave Bolstorff, before moving on to UNI, where he moved to defensive back and wide receiver and competed in track for 2 years down at UNI. After graduating from UNI, Nate decided to follow in his father's footsteps and became an Iowa State Trooper, and has served in that capacity in one way or another for the past 25 years. Nate and his wife Jill live in Clive, a Des Moines, Iowa suburb, and are the proud parents of 4 boys, Blake, Griffin, Walker, and Liam. It's my honor to introduce you to the first Forest City Athletic Hall of Fame from the class of 1994, Nate Ludwig.
I'll have to correct you, Warren. We were down by 8. It wasn't 7, so don't shortchange us. Down by 8 with a minute 8 left to get somewhere. So, Chad Moore said I had 20 minutes to talk tonight on my speech. So before I spend the next 20 minutes talking about me, I thought I'd take a couple moments to talk about the other 2 gentlemen that I thought were sitting up here with me tonight. So, as everybody knows, I've been a state trooper for the last 25 years. And my first short story takes place about 10 years ago. I was on the west side of Des Moines. I was assigned to the interstate, and there was a Sunday afternoon in April. It had rained the entire day. I don't even think I stopped a single car. I don't even think I got out of my car, except to eat lunch. It was about 2:30, and I thought, I'm going to make one more pass on the west side of town, and by the time I get back, it'll be 3 o'clock, and I can go home for the day. Well, as I started to head south on I-35, I see this car with its flashes on. Just my luck. I'm going to get wet. Somebody's got a flat tire, or they ran out of gas. The sun was kind of shining. It was absolutely pouring. The wind was blowing, and I was on his way home on a Sunday back from the alumni basketball tournament back to Wichita, so it took us a few minutes. We shared some stories. I got wet. Rob got even more wet. And in less than 10 minutes, he was on his way back south and I was headed home. So tonight we're sitting here in the restroom and I asked Rob, I said, hey, you remember that time when I pulled up behind you and helped change your tire? He's like, yeah, I think I still got the picture. Sure enough, there he does, and he texted it to me. He says, I never delete anything. I said, I guess not. My other quick camping story is that every summer, our kids compete in the U.S. ATF track Junior Olympic state meet games every June and have for about the last 8 years. And this is kids track meets for basically kids ages 8 to 16. I always make it a point to check out the records in the record book that my kids compete in just to see if they have a chance to break a record. Kids are faster these days, so most of the records that are in that record book are from within the last 5 to 10 years, except 2 of those records. Rob Camden still holds the state meet record for Junior Olympics US ATF for 9 10-year-olds in the high jump at a whopping 4'5", set back in 1992. I just checked it. It's valid. And I still hold the state record for 11 and 12-year-olds in the high jump with a jump of 5 feet in 1988. So, not only have I taught Rob Camden how to play basketball, how to high jump, I also taught him how to change a tire. So, you're welcome. Moving on, Coach Homer stories. I got a lot. I think the class of 1994 was responsible for a lot of Bob's gray hairs. 2 weeks ago, I called my good friend Eric Craig out in Colorado, and I said, I need something for this speech. I gotta have some Bob Homer stories. Well, after about 2 hours on the phone, I think we had 40 of them, but I needed to narrow it down. Craig said, all you gotta say is that Bob Homer was analytics before there was analytics. No one analyzed things more than Bob. He taught 10th grade U.S. history in high school. 10th grade U.S. history was where I learned to box out, to get back on defense, and the efficiency chart. Civil War, that was our press break. Boston Tea Party, that was the wheel. Coach Homer was the kind of guy you really couldn't get a read on because you didn't know if you could joke around with him because he was always business all the time. Well, rewind 30 years ago back to March 1994. It was a Saturday. We had just beaten Waterloo Columbus the week before to go to state basketball for the first time since 1990. It was early in the morning and we had practice later on that afternoon at 3 o'clock. I think it was 3. But earlier that morning, my dad and I were out at our farm west of town. We were building floor trusses. We thought we'd save some money and build our own floor trusses and our rafters for the house that they were building that my parents still currently live in. Bad idea. I had just gone uptown to Napa Auto Parts that morning to get some parts, and when I was coming back out to the farm on the Pilot Knob Road, it was gravel at the time, I see this guy running down the road with his hand in the air like this. Thinking, what is going on? And as I get closer, it's my dad, bib overalls, running down the road with his left hand up in the air. He had just stapled 2 large nails through his middle 2 fingers with the air gun by building trusses. What are we going to do now? So, long story short, we go to the hospital here in Forest City, and then we head over to Mason City where they numb him up, and before they clip the top part of the nails and pull him out of his fingers, they take a real nice 3x4 color Polaroid picture of his hand, just like this. Okay? It's 1994, but it wasn't color, kids. So he takes that picture. We get back home about 2 o'clock that day. We got practice at 3. And this was the week that we were going to state basketball. And that week, Bob Homer was an absolute bear. He was not happy. We were more worried about what our t-shirts were going to be at the state tournament, when the bus was leaving, what music we were going to play. Our practices were not crisp at all. He was hot. Him and Chuck. And I thought, I got to do something good to cheer Bob Homer up. I remember going upstairs in the bathroom in our old house, and I thought this would be a great idea. I took a bunch of cotton balls and toilet paper, wrapped them around my hand, and I took an old ace bandage and wrapped it around my hand. face started to change color, and I thought I'd better tell him I was joking, but not until he yelled for Chuck Edson to come in there quick. I thought it was a great joke. At the time, he probably didn't think it was a great joke. Let's see, Forest City's always been a town that's thrived on success in sports. The people here made it fun to compete. Crowds were big. Fans traveled well. We had people like Sue Edmondson in the Parks and Rec department that ensured the kids had sports and competition at their fingertips. Thank goodness I didn't grow up in a day of cell phones or Life 360 because I'd have been in trouble. Our sports reporting was second to none. Dave Dam's newspaper coverage in the Forest City Summit to coincide with KOW's Warren Harris's radio coverage of our games fostered a love of community and team. Now I'd like to introduce my family, and this is worth 2 pages here, so bear with me. I think everybody knows my mom and dad. They've lived here in Forest City since 1977. Blake, my oldest, who could not be here tonight, is a junior at Waukee Northwest High School. He's the starting cornerback, not cornerback, for Waukee Northwest Wolves. He told me earlier this week, I asked him if he could come up here for this, but he said he'd rather miss this Hall of Fame function tonight than miss a night of practice. So he's at practice at Waukee Northwest. We have a football game tomorrow night at Waterloo West, so that's what he's preparing for. He's on all the special teams for Waukee Northwest. He's currently on the third on the team in tackles. Last spring in track, he went from running a 17.4 to a 15.2 and 110 high hurdles. Pretty amazing because he's only 5'7". He was a member of the school record shuttle hurdle relay team. They had the third fastest time in Class 4A last year and was one of very few relay teams to go under 59 seconds. Blake also plays baseball. Sports have always come easy for him. He can drive a golf ball 300 yards. He'll beat you at cornhole, but he's banned from ever going fishing in Canada again, my dad said, because he snags every other cast. You guys don't have to stand up. Griffin, if you want to. Griffin is a sophomore at Waukee Northwest. Griffin long jumped over 20 feet last year. He was on the sprint medley relay team that got third at the state track meet. He was on the relay team with a senior, 2 juniors, and Griffin as a freshman. He's consistently qualified numerous times in the 100, 200 long jump in the US ATF and AAU national track meet since he was 8 years old. Last year he won the 110 high hurdles in Fargo. It cost me a bottle of cologne. He ran a 22.5 200, which is unheard of for a 15-year-old. So I'm sure you'll hear the name Griffin Ludwig in the years to come to track. Walker, my 7th grader, he plays football, runs track. He's consistently been in the top 5 of his age group in the 100, 200 and long jump over the last 5 years. My wife and I joke that he's give you the shirt off his back, but if you get a chance to talk to him tonight, make sure you check your pockets because he's 10 times trickier than me. I saw the grin on his face when I was telling the nail hand story. Finally, Leo, my 4th grader, he's a lot like me and his oldest brother. He plays every sport. He won the 100, the 200, and the long jump last year at the US ATF state track meet. In 2023, he had the longest long jump of any 8 and under 8-year-old in the entire United States at the AAU national meet. He jumped almost 14 feet. He plays second base for the Sticks, basketball for all Iowa TAC, and every Sunday he's good for a good couple touchdowns in the Waukee Youth Football Program. And my wife Jill, who's from Algona, class of 1994, same as me. She was an all-state athlete in volleyball, all-state in golf, played an all-star volleyball game in high school, went to state and golf numerous times. I'll say that again, volleyball and golf, but yet claims our kids get their speed from her. In closing, I'd like to add that I always thought that Garner had the best concession stands. Buffalo Center had the worst fans. Belmont was the worst bus ride. Osage had the best looking girls. And Forest City had the best athletes, best coaches, and the best facilities. In closing, I'd like to say thanks to the committee. Thanks to people that I played with. I try to remember everybody that I played with. If I played with you for more than 2 sports, I'm going to read off your name if I forgot you. Probably didn't pass me the ball, so. Coaches too, people like Eric Stroman, Matt Knuckelberg, Mark Jacobs, Pat Hansen, Tony Goldstorff, Matt Eckerman, Derek Clark, Eric Craigle, Ryan Herringay, Jason Brookoff, Troy Trickstead, Ronnie Miller, just to name a few. Coaches Frank Munch, Rod Barkema, Craig Van Syke, Larry Holstead, Bob Helmer, and even Don Johnson, my first Pee Wee coach, who taught me two things: make sure you have fun, and don't ever lose to Lake Mills. So congratulations again, Rob and Bob and Tom.
All right, and now for our final inductee. At this time, I'd like to welcome Mr. Wendell Camlin to the stage to introduce our final inductee for this evening, Rob Camlin.
Let's see, what time is it? Gotta be careful giving an old math teacher a microphone and the accent's on the math there, not the old part. Mike said I can't teach any trades, so I'm not bringing trade lessons up, so we'll just go from there. It is a pleasure to be here. I think Ken Baker, you nailed it when I saw you out in the hallway. You said, welcome home. Because this is home to us. Always will be. Even though we don't live here right now. It will always be home. Spent a lot of years here and a lot of great, great memories with friends, Bob and Sharon. I want to congratulate Bob and Nate on your honor. Well deserved, so well deserved. Bob nailed it when he says it's a great place to raise family. Great place to have kids graduate from. We've had 4. I'm just going to let Rob talk about whatever he wants to talk about that way. I want to know, one before I go any further, who are these people up here? Who are those 3 guys right down here? Yeah. Had a great career, but they changed a little bit, all for the good. It's been fun watching Bob and Mike coach at the state tournament. We look forward to Friday night, usually Friday night. State tournament from 1A was always the final, always had Northland in it. So we look forward to that. And Bob, you're always so patient with the head coach. That was really good of you. And Nate, you told a story about the changing tire. You beat me to it, and that's good. You told a lot better than I would. But the district final game coming back from how many points? 8 points back. And did you guess the name of the guy who traveled? Jared Hines. How do I know that? Because he's married to the daughter of some good friends of ours back in church. And the first time I got to talk to Jared, guess what I brought up? Yep, I did. And please forgive me, Doug, I didn't bring it up. And he just kind of went like this. He remembered. So, thanks for the opportunity to be here tonight. Congratulations to all 3 guys. Great job of the committee. It's a great thing for the community. Rob, I don't know if you're going to talk about Running Red or not, but Running Red talked a long, long time ago, right? How many people here played on Running Red? Yeah. Running Red was an AAU team that started when these guys were in 4th and 5th grade. And basketball has been in their blood, so to speak, since then. There's a lot of just let him do the rest of it. He was on a roll there. Well, it's nice they put me last. I can fact check some of the things Nate said. Be clear, he did not help me change the tire. He had his camera rolling, making sure he stayed dry, didn't get that hair wet or anything like that. No, I might be a little short and sweet. We'll get to a few things. Coach, I was going to have you write my notes, but I don't think I'd have been able to read them. So I can read X's and O's, but I don't know if I got much past that. I knew what we were doing. We were trying to win, but your notes, I don't know. It's amazing because some of the things that his son said about preparing is he's spot on with that. He's got a clipboard down here that not everybody can see, but it's got a packet of papers like this. And there's no doubt he said about 10% of it, but he's prepared for anything that could happen here in this auditorium tonight. And it was the same way prepping for basketball, and that was a good lesson learned on that one. So honored to be a part of this. Congratulations to you guys. I was making a joke out there. I said, I don't know if they still play JV and then varsity, but they got it all screwed up today. They got Coach Hilmer up front for the varsity, and then they got me for the JV at the end. But it's an honor to be a part of this first class with these two guys. There's a long list of names. I went golfing with Jared Schnelly the other day, and he's almost a historian on some of this stuff. But he started naming off all these different names, and you're like, holy cow. And it just, that honor came to me more and more being part of the inaugural first class. It's a pleasure, so thank you guys for putting it all together and doing that. We'll get a couple of things in here. First of all, I'll just thank my mom and dad because they taught me a lot. They taught me how to work hard, how to be consistent with that, how to dedicate yourself to it and work hard and have some discipline and all those things. And while you're doing it, be competitive and not want to lose, which is consistent both of these guys and Coach Hilmer, but honor God while we're doing it. And they have a will inside of them that is unlike anybody else I've ever seen in my life, even to this day. So, families, siblings, and Ben, you're in here, and Krista's in here, and Anita couldn't make it. They're down in Winterset, but I appreciate all the times they had to chase after me and run around and eat meals on the run and do all that stuff too, up in college and high school and all that stuff. So, appreciate that. Special thanks to my wife Kayla and the boys for still doing it now, even though it wasn't in high school. So, I think the most important thing to me would probably be the teammates. They held you accountable, and we had some really good teammates. Coach Hilmer said out there, he said something about the year before I got into high school. They had won the conference championship, or you were about to, and he said, well, you better beat us this year because I'm not sure you're going to beat us the next 4 years. And they didn't. We won the North Iowa Conference the next 4 years. But I felt like that was pretty easy. You just jump into a group of guys that had everything rolling, and Coach made sure of it. And then you try to make them a little bit better. But guys before us just had that all going for us. So go through a couple of coaches here too. Obviously, Coach Hilmer, I appreciate him on the basketball side, and Coach Edson. A quick story about Coach Hilmer. I told him out there, I said, well, should be all good today if we don't have to run any sprints. I didn't know if he'd make us do that or not, but there was one story about the whole pressing on a make or a miss. You got a diamond press and a nuisance press, and they were different based on whether you made it or missed it. Well, one time, somebody who's in this room I played with, I won't say who it was, but just wasn't getting to the spot. He always trapped the ball when he came in, and then he tried to take away the first pass. And Coach Hilmer was getting frustrated. We just weren't taking away that first pass. He goes, hang on a second, let me show you how to do it. So he gets out there. I'll get off the mic for a second. He's got his slacks on, and he got his striped shirt. He's in there. He's like, all right, go. We're like, Coach, you sure you want to play live, Coach? He goes, yeah, come on, inbound the ball. So they inbounded it, and we throw it to the same thing. We trap the first pass. They're throwing it out there, and we throw it right to him, and he didn't quite get there. But he's down in his stance. He's here. He takes off, and he tries to get it. Well, he didn't quite get it. Us being high school, was like, come on, Coach. You're yelling at us for this, and you couldn't even do it. He goes, you guys know how to do it. Just get in there and do it. I'm too old for this crap. Like, okay. Yeah. He always expected it, and we appreciated that. So, thanks for having high expectations, teaching me attention to details way back then that I still follow today. And I appreciate that more than you'll ever know. That's just the basketball. Obviously, Coach Edson, Coach Rosager, a number of names there that I'm probably missing. We'll go over to the cross cross-country side, Gilbertson and Kappas, those guys were around running and making sure we had high expectations in all those sports too. We're staying down at Campbell Park for a couple of days, and we used to go run down there, and it's a little PTSD when they make us run down there and do repeat miles. But then I went on a bike ride the other day, and I went out to Pilot Knob, and every now and then we'd run out there. And so we'd take our vehicles out there, and Ben Hauge would usually drive instead of run, because that's what he would do. But we went out there, and those hills didn't seem so bad. It's about a mile out and a mile back, and we're like, it's not so bad. Not so bad. I don't know if somebody made those hills bigger, or if it has to do with my lack of being in shape and my lack of fitness levels, but they seemed a little bigger on my bike yesterday. So, and then I think the coaches that probably had the toughest job was my track coaches, because I did cross country in the fall, basketball in the winter, track in the spring, and then basketball in the summer again. But I always wanted to, that track was sandwiched, and I loved it. So don't take that the wrong way, but I loved it as sandwiched between basketball and basketball. And we were over at Clear Lake for a meet one time. I don't know if you remember this, Bart, but we were over there, and I ran a race early in the meet. And I had a big break before the next one, so we're cheering on teammates and whatever. And they used to have these 2 basketball courts right over there, blacktop courts with a couple of hoops. I had a pretty long break, so I snuck over there and started playing a little bit of basketball. One of them came over there and was like, "What are you doing?" I better not say what they actually said. "What are you doing over there?" "Sorry, coach, I'm just playing a little get over here. You got another race later." I made it back over there, but thanks for your patience with all that too. Appreciate it. And never forget the whistle. I'll never forget the whistle. And then just special thanks to all the fans and the support from the community. These guys have covered it pretty well, so I'm not going to spend a whole lot of time on it, but it's just incredible. This is always home. We come back here and it's always home, whether it's for a Illini tournament or anything else. It's just awesome to see the familiar faces, pick up where we left off, and just enjoy ourselves and all the support you gave us. So the only other thing I like to do when I have everybody's attention is just say, go out there, be kind to somebody, do something without expecting anything else in return. The world's a weird place right now, so go be kind to somebody and dedicate. Said this at the end, but dedicated to Seth Strousley, his family. Don't mean to end on that note, but there's a whole lot of people going through a whole lot of hard stuff, and his family's got it really tough right now, so do what you can to support him and love your teammates, and sorry to get emotional at the end, but I appreciate it. Thank you guys for everything, and I really enjoyed this, and I'm honored to be a part of it, so thank you.
Again, I'd like to thank everybody for coming out. All the memories, it's everything that I thought it would be, maybe a little bit more. So it's awesome to listen to all this and listen to all you guys get to share this. At this time, I'm going to kind of end it here. The inductees, your cars will be waiting outside. We're going to put those people in the parade. The parade for the rest of you will start at Emmanuel and go down Clark Street. Which I always call Main Street, but I've only lived here for 20-some years, so I'll get it right sometime. But we'll go all the way down to the post office, so that's kind of the route to find that, and then we'll bring the inductees back here to drop them off for the night. So I appreciate everybody coming out, and excited for this first time, and hopefully we see all you back here next year. Have a great night, and enjoy your weekend. Happy Home.
Yep, good to see you, Craig. Yep. Better watch it. Right there. Boy? Yeah?
He's trying, he's hot.